Hiya, I'm Jasper, and welcome to your video review for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. So, as always, I'm going to give you good, the bad, and the furry. To start off the furry, you'll be surprised to hear that once again in this film there are turtles that are teenaged, mutant, and ninjas. Also, Splinter is in this again, and I will say that he is much less gross looking than the first one. He looked so gross and disgusting in the first one. Just nasty. Well-made CGI, but gross. And in this one, they made him a lot less gross looking. So I very much appreciate the redesign that they had for him. Also, for those of you that are really into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle lore, Bebop and Rocksteady make an appearance. So a rhino and a warthog. Cool. I thought they did a really good job on the CGI for them. So, moving on. This, once again, stars Megan Fox as April, as well as Will Arnett as whatever person, and then whatever dude plays Shredder, and then whatever dude plays the other guy, whatever. Also Tyler Perry is in this, and I enjoyed his character in this. So what I will say about this one is that I think that this movie, you do not have to watch the first one. You can just skip the first one. The first one had the completely wrong tone for what this movie series should be. So skip that one. They summarize everything that happened in that one that is important in this one in the first few minutes. So you don't need to watch that one to appreciate this one. And in this one, they definitely get the tone right. Now, personally, there was a few instances where I was just like, oh, that's so cringy. I'm just embarrassed on your behalf for how cringy that is. But not in a way that didn't make sense for the movie. Like, it's that cringy where, you know, if you're watching a comedy and the character's just making an ass of themselves, you're just like, oh, honey, no, oh. You know, it's that sort of cringe, not the, like, oh, this is not the right tone cringe. So there was quite a few instances of that. This movie, I think, it understands what it is that it's a fun time for people that they don't care so much about, like, the exact science of things, or that everything has to be exactly perfect for making sense. It's just, they want to get a live-action version of some of the TV show stuff. I haven't seen any of the TV shows, but that's just kind of the impression that I get. Because, for example, Bebop and Rocksteady, right? Two humans, and then they get exposed to this alien substance or whatever that somehow takes... And then, like, Tyler Perry's scientist man's explanation is that, like, oh, every human has a dormant gene in them, and this magical substance brings forth that substance for them. And even though these guys are humans of the same generation, one of them turns into a warthog, and one of them turns into a rhino. Because it's their dormant gene. Moving on, because why? Because nobody gives a fuck about the rest of the explanation. They give a tiny veneer of, like, yeah, that's why that makes sense. But whatever. And also, like, you would think that these two dudes would be like, man, I look like a rhino, or I look like a warthog. I'm never going to be able to go out in public again, or, you know, have relations with a female, because they're going to just run away from me screaming. Like, that doesn't go through their head at all. They're just like, oh, this is so cool. Like, oh, let's bash heads. Yeah, this is so fun. Like, and that's exactly the tone that you need for this movie, is that, like, don't address the, like, long-term implications, second, third-order effects. Nobody gives a fuck about those. These guys are dimwits, and they're having fun. Why Shredder is having dimwits go and retrieve the uber-important things? Nobody gives a fuck, because the fun part is that then they get to fight the turtles. Like, that is what this movie has, is that, you know, why is there a giant robot from, like, another interdimensional thing, and why is he wrestling? Like, nobody cares, because it's fun. And that is what maybe the other movie was missing, is the aspect of fun. So, and in this one, do the brothers get along all the time? No. But they do have teamwork. Like, they do team up to get to the Knicks game from the top. They team up to get the pizza. But they're still, like, rival brothers where they're like, oh, you know, let's keep the pizza away from Mikey because he really likes it. So now we're going to, like, be tossing from each to, you know, one another and having that. So I think that they did such a better job with the tone where these guys are brothers and they don't always get along and they don't always agree with things, but they do love each other, and that's the basis that they're coming from, is that love and that family aspect of it. that they were missing in the first one, where there's like, why did you guys just hate each other? So again, skip the first one. It's garbage in that aspect of tone. And this one, it just makes much more sense. And like, having it be where Will Arnett's character got credit for saving the city from the Foot Clan, which again, in a serious tone movie, you're gonna have the Foot Clan as a gang, like, none of that, it just doesn't work. But in this movie, it totally works. That, like, sure, everybody somehow believes that this guy, who's nicknamed himself the Falcon, is somehow the hero of the day, and everybody's just going with it, and he's leaning really into it and just taking advantage of everything that a guy that's, not an evil guy, but a little unscrupulous, just like, he's working it. He is using all aspects of the benefits that would impart onto him. Without being like a totally evil guy. So that's fun. And I would say that this movie is fun. They have some instances where they're like, and some action happens where, it's goofy and it's a fun time. I think that this movie is definitely a lot more fun than the first one, and I think that incorporating the different capabilities and action, and I really feel like I felt like they made Mikey even shorter and smaller, and the red guy bigger and buffer, and like they made it so that it wasn't just the bandanas and a little bit of voice difference. Like, these guys have very, very different personalities, and they all come through very well on screen. Once again, it's a Michael Bay type movie with a surprising lack of American flags, but the action in it, the CGI is just on point throughout. Like I said, the tone is fantastic in this one. The music is fine, doesn't like blow me out of the water, but doesn't distract from anything. And the pacing is very good in this one. I will say that even you can kind of see the Michael Bayisms a little bit, because in this one there's a giant like spaceship being built in the sky, of like being built piece by piece, like swooping in from another dimension. Not quite a big blue beam in the sky, but getting dangerously close there, filmmakers. But it definitely had the Transformers. I think it was Revenge of the Fallen, where there was like the moon bit that was like falling down to Earth, and so there was just these huge segments of Earth, and like Mark Wahlberg's character and whatnot was falling, and there was just like that battle through there as the thing was being formed or dropped. It definitely had a little bit of that feel to it, but at a citywide scale rather than giant moon scale. But it was fun, and that's what I liked about this movie, is that it was fun, teamwork with some disagreements, and and actually having Will Arnett and April's character involved in the instances that they were involved made sense. I still not a big fan of Megan Fox with like her opening sequence where she was being reportery with like her disguises and whatnot. I was just like, I really hope this is references to the cartoons and whatnot that I just don't get, because she's a little taxing right now that this is her shtick. But whatever. But that didn't last too long, and then generally her involvement in this made sense. So I liked it, and it was a fun time. Cringy, like some cringy of like in terms of the humor, just like, oh no, but a good cringy, if you know what I mean, if that makes any sense. So thumbs up for this movie. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you at the next one. Bye.